Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. It goes without saying that tribal consultation should be first and foremost in any discussion about land management, and I think we've heard shades of that position from all of my colleagues here today. In Washington's 6th district, there are 12 federally recognized tribes that have called this land home since long before it was the United States. The tribes in my district have protected the health of our forests and kept their communities safe from the fire risks for time immemorial. Meaningful consultation with tribes is not only a recognition of this deep knowledge of the lands, it is our legal obligation. And tribal consultation must start early and continue to be an open conversation, not just a box that we check to move on to the next item of our agenda. In this time when tribal treaty rights are under attack, we must hold up our end of the deal, which means providing the necessary resources to meet our trust and treaty obligations to ensure tribes can effectively co-manage this land. Mr. Crockett, I so appreciate you taking the time to be here and answer our questions. As we've discussed today, the draft bill would authorize certain federal forest lands to be treated as Indian forest lands if they meet certain criteria. And my first question is, how would the Forest Service determine whether federal forest lands are historically, culturally, or economically important to a tribe seeking an agreement with the agency under Section 2?
So thank you for that question. I think that's probably the most complicated part of the bill. If you take 10 acres of land and look at the history of it, the cultural, the historic, and geographical history of it, there are many overlapping tribal, the boundaries of tribes overlap over time. And so Section 2 of the bill puts the Forest Service in the place of having to be the arbiter of that important geographical and complex history. And so I would say that's probably the most complicated part of it, and we would look forward to working with the committee to, on the details of it.
Yeah, thank you. And I suppose sort of a follow-up, which you dipped your toe into in that answer, when there are multiple tribes that have claims to the same geographic area, do you have any, I don't know, perspective on steps that we should be taking to proceed as, you know, we are acting as the arbiters of that situation? I know it's a difficult position that I think many members of Congress worry about getting involved in too. So would love any thoughts that you have at this point, but also to continue this conversation about how we do that work.
Yeah, so I don't have a perfect answer on how to get to yes or the right answer on that. I think the tribal voice, the BIA's voice, the Forest Service voice are all ways that we can work with the committee to find some successful solutions. So I look forward to following up to do that.
Thank you. And in your experience, have there been any impacts of recent staff shortages or grant cancellations on tribal stewardship of federal lands?
Not to my knowledge. I don't have the full landscape of all of the grants and agreements in the agency, but I'm not aware of any tribal grants, contracts, and/or agreements that have been canceled.
Okay. Well, certainly want to continue to keep an eye on that as we move through reconciliation and the impacts of the skinny budget that this president has proposed. I think, you know, one of the things that has that we've seen in other agencies is, well, maybe there aren't cuts to a particular program, the elimination of some administrative staff have an impact on the ability for an agency to carry out their work as a sort of customer service, you know, for the folks who are receiving support from the agency. So something we'll definitely continue to track. Thank you so much for being here, and I yield back my time.